Oh, hello. Well, welcome to my storage unit. Yes, it's kind of a mess, isn't it? This is a box full of dance stuff. Yes, I'm folding dance clothes and looking at all the little dance clothes that my girls had when they were little. So, what can I do for you? Oh, you would like a story, I bet. You came here for a story. Yes, I have stories for you. Isn't this cute? Oh, I just love that outfit. That was one of Maggie's cutest outfits. I do have a story for you. Yeah, storage unit is a great place to tell stories because there's so many great boxes with memories in them, right? So yeah, come on in. I'll tell you a story. In fact, I have a great story that has to do with dancing and a little girl at 5 years old. That isn't that cute. Wait a minute, I went this way. Oh, I remember when she wore that. Ah, this is when she got a little bigger. I mean, I like you that one, but I like these. All right, you ready? Okay, are you listening? All right, this has to do with dancing. Now, my girls have been dancing since they were 3 years old, which means Maggie has been dancing now for 15 years and Hadassah has been dancing for 13 years. And I have several boxes completely full of dance recital clothes wow, like so super cool, lots of different outfits. Ever since they were little, we've been gaining tons of boxes here. So I remember a story that happened when Maggie was 5 years old, actually. Hasatan came after her, and I'll tell you this story because, and I think there's a really important lesson in this story. This story is, again, one of my favorite stories. So Maggie at birth, when she was born, when she started walking, she was always on her tiptoes. She was always like tiptoe, 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 and I knew she was made to dance. I just knew it. Dance or gymnastics or something. So we put her in gymnastics and then dance. And so for 5 years of her first, just a little bit, she was doing both. And at some point we asked her to choose. So 5 years after being in gymnastics for 5 years and dance for 5 years, and we said, you got to choose one. So she chose dance. So I know that dancing was written on Maggie's heart. She's been dancing ever since she was little, trying to be up on her toes, walking around on her toes, jumping up and down after bath. I'll never forget giving her a bath and putting her on the bed, and she would jump up and down like this, and then she would tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. I knew that dancing was ballet. She's supposed to be on point. I just knew it. Well, one of the religion that I grew up in and Isaac grew up in, dancing wasn't allowed, and so even ballet was a no-no. And I wanted to be a dancer my whole life, but I wasn't allowed in the religion that I grew up in. And so when our girls started dancing, it was tears from Isaac, both Isaac and I, that we realized, what I missed out on as a little girl and what his sisters missed out on. But with Maggie, what happened was we put her in dance classes when she was little, at 3 years old, and about at 5 years old, so she'd been dancing for 2 years, loved dancing. I mean, so excited to go to classes, and she was building this great relationship with the other kids in the classes and the other families. We were having a lot of families interaction there. It was like, began to feel like a place to belong. And the teacher was awesome, it was a beautiful dance studio, and there was no reason for Maggie to get scared, but she did. At 5 years old, her and I were going to go over to the mall, and this is before the teepee. This was long before the teepee. We were in a house downtown, and I was a photographer at the time and a graphic designer, and we were going to go down to the mall, and her and I were going to get pictures together for her 5-year-old birthday. So I put her into the truck, a big old Ford truck. It was a crew cab, a big white thing. It was beautiful. Get her in there, and we drive to the mall to take these pictures. And lo and behold, I had no idea she was sick until we got right there at the parking lot and then stopped the truck, and she's in a white outfit, got her hair all curly. Mine is all curly. I'm in a white outfit, so we match, and she starts blah. So she's just sick. She started throwing up, and she's so cute. She started wiping herself off, saying, no, Mommy, I'm okay. We can still go. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. So we turned around, went back home. She got better. But what happened was she associated the getting sick with the vehicle. So getting her into the truck after that was quite a chore. She did not want to get into the truck. And she began to get... to succumb to this fear, and I could not figure out how to get her to dance class. I could not get her to anywhere. She wouldn't get in the truck to go to dance. She wouldn't get in the truck to go see friends. She just did not want to get into that truck. And I tried everything. For like 2 months, I tried everything, trying to figure out how to get her past this hurdle. You know, had her learn to walk through the questions. Are you sick? Or da-da-da. No, I'm not. Da-da-da. Then nothing's going to happen. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't help her. Finally, the teacher decides, this is 2 months of fighting with Maggie over going anywhere. And all I saw was my little girl beginning to fade, like changing, like she was so in love with dance, and now all of a sudden she had all this fear, and she was going to allow the fear to stop her from dancing. And I was like, I couldn't reason with her. You can't reason with a 5-year-old. I couldn't force her. I couldn't reason. I didn't know what to do. I was so frustrated. So I called the dance teacher. So the dance teacher had gotten a brand new car, and I thought, well, maybe Maggie would like to ride in a brand new car. And so the dance teacher was going to show up at a certain time, pick Maggie up, and whisk her off to dance class, right? So we're standing on the front porch waiting for the teacher to come. And Maggie had been excited. She was okay with it. And then all of a sudden she started to get this fear. And she started to cry. And she started to say, I'm not going to dance. I don't want to dance. I can't. And I was like, yeah, right. You're made to dance. I know you're made to dance. And I was starting to see my little girl just change and crumble, and to a point where I was starting to think something else was up. And I was new to spiritual warfare at the time, and I got down on my knees. I started praying, and we're sitting on the porch. She's standing there right in front of me, and all of a sudden it was like the Ruach spoke to me and told me what was happening, that this was Hasatan trying to make an agreement with my daughter, trying through fear, making an agreement with my daughter so that she would stop dancing. And I picked my eyes up off the floor, and they were burning mad, and I looked right through, and I saw behind her Hasatan and the evil one in my mind's eye, in the mythical reality of things. And I said, you are so out of here. And I looked at Maggie, and I grabbed her in the face, and I said, Maggie, I know what's going on here. I know how to get rid of this, and I know how to get your heart back. And I said, this is Hasatan. He wants to set against you. He wants you to give in to fear. He wants to make an agreement with you, and you are not going to. We're going to get rid of him right now in Yeshua's name. So we knelt down, or I knelt down, and Maggie's probably thinking, what the heck is going on? But I'm praying, and I pray Hasatan away in the name of Yeshua. Get out of here. And he left. It was like I could see through it at that moment. Like I got eyes to see, and literally I came up off the floor with piercing, like, superhero eyes that went, whoa, I can see right through, and I know what's going on. And the dance teacher pulls up right after that. Maggie gets her bag, walks away from me, walks down the walk, out the front gate, gets into Miss Debbie's car, closes the door. She's so excited to be in Miss Debbie's car, where just a few minutes before she was crying, didn't want to get into a car, didn't want to go to dance class, was done with dance at 5 years old. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I had promised Maggie that I was going to drive behind her. So I get in my car. So Miss Debbie pulls out. I get behind. I follow them all the way to dance class. She doesn't even look back. She just goes with Miss Debbie into the dance studio, waves at me, and never has had a problem since. Yeah. So if there's any parents listening, I want you to know that that moment, as soon as I realized what had happened, I fell to my knees and began to pray again. And I knew I was just in tears, realizing the job of a parent. The job of a parent is to recognize when Hasatan is coming after your kid. And your job is to make that stop, to stand between your kid and Hasatan at that early age. I mean, and later you're supposed to teach them how to do that themselves, absolutely. But at that age, he could make an agreement with her that would stop her from being all that she was meant to be, you know? And in that moment, I realized the huge, huge role that a parent plays. It's not just about feeding them and keeping them alive and getting them to school and getting them to bed and getting them to this curricular activity and that one and soccer and all this other jazz. It's not about that. Being a parent is about coming between the evil one and your child. It's about breaking agreements for them. It's about noticing when an agreement is trying to be forged by Hasatan to your child. And if he was able to do that, he could have stopped her from dancing. I mean, how many of you can look back in your childhood and say that you made an agreement with him and it has affected your whole life? Absolutely. I think we all can. But the job of a parent is to stop that from happening, and then to teach your child how to grow up to be the warrior and to recognize and to resist, as Yahshua says, to resist the devil, right? So, huge story. I love this kind of stories because these stories remind me of when he comes through, and he gave me eyes to see, and he gave me a huge parenting lesson. So there you have my story for today. So yeah, I like to end my stories with, and they lived happily ever after. So her and Maggie and Dance are going to live happily ever after. Yeah, both my girls are beautiful dancers. So thank you for coming to listen to my story, and I hope that you come again. I've got lots of stories to share. Bye-bye.